Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Warframe. Today we're going to go over my mag build. This is my mag prime. Honestly, don't like the look of her that much. I don't actually like the mag prime skin that much, but pretty much mag has a lot of skins, but all of them are 10-gen and I don't want to spend real money. I have platinum. After I run out of platinum, maybe I'll spend real money on skins. But first things first, let's go over her abilities. First things first is her passive, which is her bullet jump has like a slight pull effect on it, so things will get dragged into her at the bullet jump. I mean, it's honestly not that useful because you always have vacuum on anyway, but kind of useful for like a starter frame, I guess, which she is one of the starters. Simply because you won't have vacuum when you first start playing, I suppose, so that's something. But her first ability is pull. She will literally just do like a magnetic pull and ragdoll all the enemies towards her. It does a bit of damage. On this current build does a fair amount of damage. 585 isn't bad. And also on this build has quite a large range at almost 50 meters, which is quite ridiculous. Also, if they die when you pull them, so if the actual pull damage is what kills them, they drop an energy orb as well, which is nice, I suppose. Magnetize. You create a field around an enemy, and that field will pull in all other enemies closer to the one into the center. You then shoot a bullet, well, any bullets that you shoot into there will then get magnetized to the center and spin around in a vortex. That's very, very cool. After the timer ends, it will go down and explode and do a bunch of damage based on how much damage you put into it. You see there's the bottom number that says damage absorption at 25%. So if you put in 100,000 damage into the orb, then when it explodes, it will do 25,000 damage in a area of effect. Polarize. This is hard to describe, so I'm just going to read the description and add anything that is relevant. You emit an energy pulse that depletes enemy shields and armor, creating shards, which become deadly and when mixed with magnetize. Shields of allies touched by the pulse are restored. It says restored, it will also add overshields, which is nice. But the main thing with this is the synergy with magnetize. The shards that it drops will turn into like shrapnel and do damage over time for anyone inside the magnetize. So that's nice. Also stripping armor, that's also incredibly good. Shields, whatever, but the stripping of the armor is very, very useful. And then finally she has Crush, which is an AoE damaging ability essentially. Magnetizes the bones of nearby enemies, causing them to collapse upon themselves. It sounds horrible. Not something you don't want happening to. You literally implode. But this just does a big bunch of damage to anybody within an area. In this case, the area is like 35 meters-ish. It will also restore your shields, so that's something based on how many enemies you hit. You see here, shield per hit is 48.75, so we get 48.75 enemy shields back for every enemy that you get inside your Crush. But that's pretty much it, so let's go through the build. Yep, there we go. We have Corrosive Projection, just to reduce armor, because although her 3 does strip armor, it's like it takes on higher levels, it takes a fair few casts to fully strip armor. On low levels, you can literally, if you have Corrosive Projection, you just cast it once and all their armor's gone. But for higher level stuff, you have to cast the 3 a few times, so getting rid of some of that armor is really good anyway. Cunning Drift, this is here for the ability range. You also get slide and less friction. We have Prime Continuity for ability duration, Prime Flow for more energy, Quick Thinking to help you not die with having your energy, so it will convert your energy into health when you're close to death. Streamline, just get some efficiency there to cut down her casting costs, because her casting costs are actually fairly high for a lot of her abilities. So even though we have this huge energy pool, I would still say you need some efficiency on mag. Stretch for more range, Augur Reach for more range, Transient Fortitude for a bunch of strength at the cost of some duration, and then Umbral Intensify for ability strength. As for Arcanes, Arcane Aegis, Arcane Nullify, it's essentially just my go-to when I can't think of what else to put on there. If there's not something better to put on there, it's usually just what I go for. Also mag ends up with a fair amount of overshield, so Arcane Aegis is nice as well. But that's it for the build. I'll now show it off. We'll start with the level 145 test. I have noticed that when you get up past level, like, 120-ish, she can die. Even with Prime Flow and, Quick Thinking. Why has this happened? I have to reset this up again. I don't know why this happens. I'll be back in a second. Okay, and we're back. I've put in the correct enemies, and we just hit simulate. Alright, so first things first, I'll come in and I'm going to cast my 3. Then I'm cast my 2. Healers suck balls, so I'm going to run away. Shoot that bubble from a while away, it'll kill a bunch of enemies. I'm going to keep running here. As I said, survivability problems are a thing. There we go. Killed the ancients, that's good. See there, we do quite a bit of damage. It's worth noting that I'm using a lunker here, which is arguably the best weapon you can possibly use. The reason it's one of the best weapons you can possibly use is because these heavy gunners are killing themselves just as much as I'm killing them. The enemy's bullets will also go in and, the enemy's bullets, as they're shooting, will also go into this magnet and circle around the center, so they're killing themselves. Ow. It's worth noting you can stand inside this bubble and you will actually be pretty much safe from all bullets, which is good to know. Whoop. I got hit a few too many times. Unfortunate, I died, but as I said, there are some survivability problems. I think that's everyone dead. Pretty sure that's everyone dead. I didn't really show off her 4 at all in that. I'll go to a level 50 test and show off the 4, because level 50 test I don't really have to worry about dying. So I can actually show off the abilities a bit more. Which is the benefit to doing a lower level test. It's also probably more accurate assessment of what you're going to be dealing with. I can also one-shot with my Lunker on this build. I get killed a few with the 4 there. Oh, one more here. I can pull him, come over here. On this map they fall off the edge very easily, so I guess that's one way of doing it. But her 4, essentially... I was going to show off her 4 and then I didn't, so... Strip some armor. You can see you can lift up these enemies. Does the job. So, that's Mag in a nutshell. Her main useful abilities are her 2 and her 3. Her 3 can strip armor and create shards, which helps her 2 to hold enemies together and then you shoot it. I will point out that I was using a Lunker, and the reason I'm using the Lunker is it is a very good weapon to use with Mag. Specifically because If we look here, innately, it has 5 punch through, which is insane. It's a very high punch through value. Mine is 100% radiation damage. The reason it's 100% radiation damage is because I use it for Eidolon hunting. Technically, you could make this better by adding other damage types, like corrosive, to get rid of more armor and all that kind of stuff. However, this is the build for it. I have Serration for damage, Split Chamber, Vital Sense, Point Strike. Vital Sense critical damage, Point Strike is critical chance, Stormbringer for electricity damage, Hellfire for heat damage, Visual Anti-Armaments for more multi-shot, and Vile Acceleration for additional fire rate and negative... get a little bit less damage, but more fire rate, which is very, very good on the Lunker. Because it decreases the charge time between shots. Or for each shot, I should say. As the Lunker actually has a charged shot, you see there. If you let go early, it doesn't do as much damage. And if you just tap it, it won't shoot at all. It needs to get at least 25% of the way around that wheel before it will actually fire. But that's pretty much it. Because the Lunker has so much punch through, the bullet, once it goes into her 2, I'll show it off again, just for explanation's sake. Cast your 2, you see that bubble, pulls everything in, and when I shoot a bullet into it, you see the damage numbers there. The Lunker bullet will pass through like 3 or 4, or probably 5 enemies, really. So punch through a 5, it will pass through 5 enemies. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And because it does such high base damage, going through that many enemies, you see there it was doing like a couple of 100,000 damage or so. Once again, shooting in here, they all die. They just die. So you want a weapon with a lot of punch through. A Lunker isn't necessary. I mean, it's worth noting that my Lunker has like 5 Formerend or something as well, so it's like ridiculous, and it's designed specifically for Eidolon hunting. But anything with punch through, you're going to be good. I have Myrodetron on here as well, because once again, punch through. Also, the Myrodetron, you can do very specific damage types, which is nice because it has base radiation, much like the Lunker. But that's pretty much Mag in a nutshell. Thanks for watching. I shall see you next time with Mesa, I believe, which is my favourite Warframe, probably. Very close to my favourite Warframe, at the very least. So, next week will be Mesa. But thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye.